Hello, Nadine.
This is like kind of off topic, but I have a friend who has daughters that are just a couple years older than my oldest. I think they're maybe like 14. And for the last several years, she's kind of told them, like, you know, if school's not for you, when you're a little bit older, that's your call. Like, if you want to drop out, that's fine, but you got to have a plan. So to me, that was like, wow, because like school was never for me. College wasn't for me. But like my parents were like, you know, you graduate,
like
then
this
you're
is the plan. Like this is the track.
But like for her to say, like, you know what, if school's not for you and you really are hating your life, fine. But you need to find out what else you can do, because you're not going to drop out and just be a bum. Like, if you want to drop out and become a hairdresser, do that. Make your plan. Like, you don't need to go graduate K through 12 for, you know, anything. Especially now, it's not always like college students are unemployed sometimes. So like you can not have no degrees and do so much more. So I just thought that was productive parenting.
Yeah. There's also like, I'm really hoping, and we'll fucking see, because, you know, I'm extremely progressive. I don't know if I've ever come off that way, but like, like it would be really encouraging to see bare minimum, like the 2-year programs, like, and what is it called? The like job programs
and certificates,
associate certificates, and like
vocational
that like learning how to do plumbing and HVAC and stuff like that, like install solar panels and wind turbines and stuff like that. Like if we could make those programs free for people, you know, like, of course school is not for everybody, but like that kind of stuff is so useful and like so important. And if we could make it free for people, especially a lot of people who school isn't for them, and this isn't the case for everybody, because obviously every situation is different, but like a lot of the time the case is that like people who really hated school like weren't being taught in the way that
they learn,
like intuitive for how they learn. So like they're not going to be the kinds of people who are going to want to go. And a lot of the time those kids are in poorer neighborhoods and like they don't have access to be taught by someone who can teach them the way they need to learn. So like
how is the standardized test going to appropriately assess a kid who's a kinesthetic learner who can do anything with their hands
at all?
It's not
even just like the way kids are learning, it's also what kids are learning, because, you know, like as we touched on previously, like our history classes are clearly garbage.
Just a little pick and choosy.
The winners, what we call the air quotes, I'm very hard like quoting air quotes,
the rose-colored books.
The winners of history. But like why didn't anybody tell me how to do taxes?
I fucking ask that all the time. Sorry.
Why didn't anybody teach me? Why didn't anybody teach me like how to budget for rent? And
you know what? So when I was in high school, as I said, I was not a school person, so I did very bad. In my final year of high school, they put me in, it wasn't called this, but like people would call it the special education math class. And that teacher taught us stocks, taught us checkbooks.
Hell yeah!
Taught us like so much stuff like that other teachers have never taught us. Yes. They just need something like more lifestyle, because they said you know, you're not going to have a calculator in your pocket for the rest of your life. We all do. So I don't need this basic math stuff. Like I need to know real life.
But that stuff. Also, it's like, okay, so yes, I do have I do have
and a
a
TV.
calculator. I do have a calculator in my pocket at all times, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I know what I need to be typing in my calculator. You know, like there's so many life skills that we're not taught in favor of learning, like these like stupid facts that are just going to empty out of our brains for no reason. You know, like I really, really, really wish that we could get to a place where school is free and it's done differently. I'm not necessarily advocating exactly for how things are done in Europe, but like in Europe, they sort of like do this thing where they're like, okay, so you are good at these things. We have seen you progress over these 10 odd years, and you are good at these things. These jobs are those things, and you may apply to this track.
Yes.
Like, and they sort of direct you in a path that is like suited for what you are good at already. Yes. And for some people that doesn't work, but like for a lot of people that is what they need, because a lot of people are really indecisive and don't know what to do.
Your like, brain isn't developed by that time.
No.
Like elementary school, whatever, do all the basic stuff. But once you hit junior high, that's when they need to start introducing you to all this other stuff.
100%.
Not once you go to college and you're like, well, I'm an adult now. I'm going to decide on a career.
It's like drinking from a fire hydrant. It's like, oh, there's more than just the options of being a doctor, a lawyer.
It is, yeah.
Or a cosmetologist, or
well,
a
and
teacher.
it's like you're told, we are told our whole lives, you can be anything you want to be.
Yep. I thought I was going to be a pop star by now.
Yeah, and that is a lie.
Yes.
You cannot be anything you want to be. I want to be an astronaut. I don't know how to do the physics for that. I am not smart enough to be an astronaut. The people who are astronauts because they are good at everything.
Yes.
And that is insane. Like you cannot
like how do you hold that much information in your brain?
I don't know. These people know like 8 languages and they can do like hardcore, you know, astrophysics and
like in their head.
In their head, yeah. And they
also have to be really physically fit.
Really fit.
They have to pretty much be like a perfect person.
Perfect human. Yeah.
I'll pass.
No, absolutely. Yeah, it's not going to happen for me, you know?
Yeah.
But like, you know, you reach the end of high school, and I think a lot of people go into college because we don't do the tracks the way they do in like Europe and stuff like that. People go to college because they're like, I don't know how to do anything else other than just go to school. So I guess I'll just go to school, and I'm an adult now. So like, I guess I can pick and choose if I want to go to class or not, and like whatever. And then they just, you know, and then you reach the end of college or you drop out or whatever. And you're just like, you most of the time still don't know what you want to do.
Yeah.
It's amazing to me how many people that I met in college that immediately went to master's programs, and it was not necessarily because it was almost like they've never done anything but be in school.
Yeah.
So it was like, I don't know how to function as an adult, so I'm just going to keep going to school.
So many of the people that I was in grad school with were those people. They were brilliant people. I won't discredit them in that way. Like they were brilliant.
Yeah, grad school isn't easy.
Yeah.
No, oh my God, abso-fucking-lutely not. They were brilliant people, but they also just had no grasp on real life, how to function as an adult. Like, and the only thing that they were super good at was like coming up with brilliant ideas and doing research and
but it's not grounded.
It's not realistic.
I took a couple of years off between undergrad and then I enrolled in a grad program, and I didn't finish it because I have a kid. That's not happening. But you could tell who were the people that were straight out of undergrad, who were like, they were just in the ivory tower so much that nothing was ever grounded in reality. And like, I went to a seminary for grad school. Like, that is all supposed to be grounded in reality because you're working with people. Like the point of those jobs afterwards is to work with people. And if you were going to go the academic route, like you probably wouldn't have been at that seminary.
Right.
And it boggled my mind like to see like the posture that those people would, like, you could smell it when you
but there's always this weird, like, at least when I was in grad school, most of the people I was going to school with wanted to go on to like a PhD program and become a professor, but it's just like, yo, there are no jobs in that field. I'm lucky to have gotten the job I got, because there's no jobs in my field either. But I didn't always have this plan. So I was a person who had a plan. Like I was always planning on being a Fed.
Really? That's
just
funny.
not this kind of Fed. I actually was going down that path for a while, and had made it very far, had been offered a job and then did not take it, because then I was like, holy shit, I don't want to do this. And
wait, to do like what?
So it's not going to matter now, because I wholly rejected it and will not apply to this place.
Like FBI or something?
You want to be a Men in Black?
I didn't want to be a Men in Black. I had been offered a job with the CIA. After having done, not just like offered, like it's very weird. This stuff is very weird, you guys. I'm not going to talk all about it, because that could be an entire thing in and of itself.
I feel like I have an inside scoop right now about something.
You're not really supposed to talk about this stuff, but I also say fuck them. Like, I don't want to.
You clearly don't work there for a reason.
Yeah.
It was one of those things where, like, I was very worried that I was going to end up being part of something that I morally would have objected to. Whether it was like loss of life or like us fucking with another country, because that's what they do. And the excuse that is made is that they do it to us, so we do it to them. And it's just I can't support it. But I also was like this desperate person who very much wanted a job, and like didn't know what I was going to do with my Russian studies degree, and like had worked in libraries forever and would love to get a librarianship, but like didn't know if that was possible, because the job field is so dry and dead. I lucked out so hard to get my job. I will always and forever credit Barbara Dash, Rare Book Cataloger, for picking me for the junior fellowship that I applied to at the library.
Yeah, Barbara.
She's my academic like brain mother. I love her. Like, she is a wonderful human being and always advocated for me ever since, because I don't know what she saw in me, but she saw something in me and she picked me. And then I worked there for a summer, and then I was like, I have to get back. And then I went back to the Midwest and I was miserable for like 3 years. And then, like, the opportunity came up to be a contractor at the law library, in the Library of Congress. And I was like, it'll probably be miserable, but let's go. And so, like, I did that for 7 months. And then I got a job in the Russia section as a cataloger. Amazing. It feels crazy still. Like, I cannot believe this is my life. I grew up in an actual village in Ohio from a family of like farmers and factory workers, and who don't have any language expertise in anything. And like, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having like that small town life, but it just never felt like it was
so different from where you are.
Yeah. And I always felt like suffocated in the town that I grew up in, and like something wasn't right and I had to go, so that's
so funny, because I would love to like escape to that life. My dream for my life, this is so weird, but like I would love to just own a farm, grow my own food, have some animals that I would never kill because I would love them too much. But like, I just want to farm. Like, I want to go to, every time I go to Maine and the houses are miles apart, I'm like, this is my dream to just live in this middle of nowhere town.
Yeah.
And you felt suffocated. That's so interesting.
Well, it's a matter of difference. Like, I grew up in that,
Yes,
you know.
yeah.
I think whatever a lot of people feel suffocated in, like, whatever kind of environment that they grew up in, especially if
you always
it's
want
not
what you don't have.
Yeah,
Do you have curly
sorta.
hair? Did you always want straight hair?
Oh, I mean, I straightened
I
the
do.
shit. I straightened the shit out of my hair in high school.
With an iron on,
Yes.
on a towel.
My hair was so fried that I had to like cut it all off at one
My
point.
hair wouldn't hold a curl. My hair would not hold a curl.
Oh, you have straight hair. Did you want curly hair?
Only when I wanted it.
Yeah.
But also my hair, so I have a lot of thin hair, so it just would be like anti-gravity, and then I would just look like I'm like Einstein or something, because it would just be like, so I always put it up all the time because I hated how it looked down, and I didn't know what to do with it down. I just didn't, yeah.
I put my hair up all the time because it's so goddamn hot.
Yeah,
and I live in a swamp. I live in a swamp in this situation.
Next the worst.
I love it.
But,
going back to what you were saying earlier about like generational privilege and stuff, I think that came to mind again when we were talking about life skills and how it's not taught in schools, because there's almost this expectation that it's going to be taught in homes. And that is so not the case for a lot of people. Like, I was very fortunate. Like, I had a job at 16 and my dad made me do my own taxes.
Yeah.
And part of me is like, what the heck? Like, that's mean. But at the same time, like, I do my own taxes. And
that's good.
And it's complicated sometimes because of, like, I'm dealing with custody stuff. So I have to make sure, like, extra, besides the fact that if you screw up on your taxes, you can go to jail. But, like, all my tax returns are getting reviewed by judges every couple of years. So, like, they have to be in order.
Right.
And I do them myself. And not everybody happens to have a parent who is incredibly equipped in those areas.
No, not at all. I mean, especially people of color, like in homes where their parent or parents may not be able to keep a job because of racial issues. Like, really, that's what it is. I mean, like, the kind
of all
of
these like systemic issues, like
systemic
childcare, like not having jobs with enough sick time, PTO.
So like they're not learning those skills because they don't exist in their homes. Like, it is not something that they do because it's not accessible at all. Like, literally doing taxes might not be something that they do because maybe their parent doesn't get to keep a job or doesn't. You know,
how can you learn to save and invest and
if there's
like
never any
put
money
into retirement if you can barely afford groceries?
If you didn't have that, you don't have that example at home because your parents didn't have that accessibility. Like, who the fuck is learning about a 401k when you basically have to like ration your food stamps for shit because like no one will fucking help you.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, and I think a lot of people that are in the positions that are like creating and building curriculum and in a lot of policy making positions, they have no context for that because that is so far removed from their reality.
They're white.
Yeah.
Because they're fucking white. And the people, when you run for office, especially ever since 2009, Citizens United, it is impossible to run for office. It is, I mean, it's getting better recently because we have people like Bernie Sanders talking about and using grassroots campaigns, but oh my God, that takes so much effort from us, the donators and the campaigners and the people who are like really gunning for these politicians who are actually talking about things that matter. It takes so much of our time, energy, and money to like help prop up people because they're fighting against these super PACs who are funded by people like the Koch brothers
Yeah.
And
The
or
Richies.
Koch brother. One of them's dead now.
Mm.
Wow.
Whatever.
Well, and that
Anyone saw that.
perpetuates the divisions there, because like I've like thought about running for different, like down the line, like I would love to be involved in local and state level politics.
Yeah.
But
That's why we can't talk about sex.
That's
Sex.
I won't talk about sex.
I'll
I won't
cut
talk about my
that
personal
Sex.
sex life.
Oh, am I allowed to talk? Because I'm about to get real wild.
But like,
Wild.
so as a single parent, like there's no way that I can do that while Genevieve is still in my home and while I'm still responsible for her.
Yeah.
And also, like, I'm someone that lives with chronic illness, and
Right.
like I live by spoon theory. That is a really, if you aren't familiar with spoon theory, you need to look it up, because it's going to explain a lot of people in your life.
Right.
Like,
if you don't have the
Basically,
spoons to
like,
give,
Everybody has, so when you live with different things, whether it's like mental illness, chronic illness, all the above, you basically only have so much capacity for things in a day. So like, let's say that you start your day with 10 spoons, and you basically have to choose what you do with your energy of like,
Okay.
like if you shower, that's a spoon, and now
Yeah.
you have 9
Okay.
spoons. If you go to work and then your commute takes an extra 20 minutes, that's going to be 3 spoons. And then work is like 6 spoons, 6, 7, 8 spoons. And then it's like, oh, but you still have to cook dinner. You still have to like clean your apartment and like maintain relationships and friendships and do all these things, but you have literally nothing left in you to do it. So like, how can I, like, I feel I'm barely scraping by. Like, how am I then going to have the capacity to work 20-hour days on a campaign trail? That's not happening.
Yeah.
well,
And
and
it's and I think that I like people like me, not necessarily me, but I think there's a lot of really smart, capable people and really talented people that could be a huge asset to our local, state, and federal governments, but they literally can't because it would like kill them.
Yeah. No, the thing that like sucks the most about this is that like you are someone who I would want to be in a political office because you are a single parent, because you are a single mother who understands the struggles that other single mothers are going through and being demonized about, and like, you know, like all of the social structures that are against you. Like, you understand how to navigate that stuff, and you are the perfect person who would be able to help others in your situation. So it
I just need a patron. I just need someone to financially fund my life, so I can magically have a nanny, and I need a sugar daddy and a nap pod on wheels that I can take with me anywhere.
Just send Genevieve to my house. Emma would freaking love it. We can work this out. You go off and run for president. I will sit here.
You can
with
run
the
my
kids.
gardens.
Yes, because we've decided, since Emily and I are starting a commune with all of our lady friends, we're going to invite to live with us in this little cul-de-sac, is how I imagine it.
Because we can't all live in the
Emily-
same house, because that's going to be like an issue.
Emily has tasked me with taking care of all the kids. She said because I'm the funnest. I think it's because we'll see. There's other reasons, but whatever. I'm the funnest. So
Okay,
I'll get along
you
with kids.
also have 3 kids, and you are an amazing mom. Like,
I'm just good at getting them to follow suit. I don't.
No,
fuck
but
around.
like and like you are able to do things with 3 children that I really struggled to do with 1. Like the way that you parent,
No,
it
it's
blows
because I
my
have that
mind.
one. No, you get the first one on track. The second and the third and however many you have after that, they follow suit. So you're doing good with G.
Nice.
If you had another one, especially because the oldest, they want to be the responsible boss. And so once you have any more kids, they're like, they just kind of, without even realizing it, they fall in line because they want to be like the role model. They want to help with these kids. Like they just are natural little caregivers, even though they're like 4 and 5.
And so Genevieve wants a little sibling so bad, and she loves babies and little kids so much. Like, she pretends to give birth fairly regularly.
Oh my god, like on The Office.
Oh, like
that's the exact reference that I made. Oh my god.
Like, I didn't know that she knew that birth was a painful process until, like, I was in the kitchen one day and I just hear, like, grunting and groaning, and, like, you don't know where this is gonna lead. And then she burns the stuffed animal. Like, she's on her back. And I'm like,
oh my god.
And I'm like, I've explained
For one,
some stuff, but
For
not
one,
that
that makes
level.
her like incredibly smart.
She's
But like,
she's sitting there having a baby.
Like, I'm like making dinner over here.
I have like 7 nibblings at this point between my sister and my close girlfriends.
I love that term.
Nibblings.
We're
Yeah.
sticking with it. TM.
Yeah. I love that term because like I am a firm believer that like you don't know like who that child is going to become. So like,
and all the terms are so gendered.
Yeah, so it's whatever, you know. Also, it just sounds fun, and like none of them object to it, so it's fine.
Love it.
But like, if I were to hear like my goddaughter in the other room grunting, I'd be like, she's gonna shit herself. Let's go. Like, what's happening? I don't know what's happening. Like, poop is involved. Poop is involved, and things are. We're about to turn on the bath. Like, what is happening?
Just get the hose.
The hose. We're going outside. Skinny cat. Let's go.
I would probably hear that. My like usual thing is I'll hear a loud noise or like a scream or something drop, and I just sit there silently hoping no one starts crying. So there's like
the sound and then like the weight of like, is this a thing that I need to worry about, or is it like it's fine?
Yeah, 9 out of 10 times if I'm not there to react negatively, there's no issue. Like my mother-in-law, like the other day, she like slammed something, and she was like, her reaction made my son start screaming.
Yeah.
And I was like, if you didn't do that, like this would all be fine. Like none of this happened.
If you look at toddlers and babies, like if they fall or hurt, they will look at the adults for cues.
Yes.
Like,
I
remember, like Genevieve would specifically like read my face and be like, "Am I supposed to cry right now, or am I fine?" And I would just internally, I'm freaking the fuck out because I'm a very protective mother, but I'm like, oh, you fell. That probably hurt your bunny, but it's okay. We're gonna try to get back up again. And it's like my baby, but like you can't let that show. Like you can't. At least I don't feel like it's not gonna help them.
I just want to tell you guys that, like, I know we haven't known each other long,
feels like,
but I want you to know that you guys are doing such a good fucking job.
I'm trying.
Such a good fucking job. Just hearing the way the relationships with your children are and like the way that you're raising them to be, you guys are doing such a good fucking job. And I know it's so hard. There's no way, like, being a parent has to be one of the hardest jobs there are. So like,
yeah, I didn't know if I ever wanted to have kids, and then I got pregnant and was like, oh, I'm having a kid now.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, better not screw this up.
Yes.
Well, you guys are
Bethany,
doing
you're so
fantastic.
sweet. Shut up. I hate you.
This is what happens when ladies support ladies. It's like, no.
Bethany, wait. Have you watched One Piece?
No.
Oh, damn it. Okay, because Chopper in that show, like the way he reacts to like compliments is like, that doesn't make me feel good, you jerk. Like that's literally me. I don't mean to. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. If you want to talk about like anime and stuff, like Kyle's your guy. Like
next time.
He loves anime. He reads tons of manga, like constantly.
Oh, yeah, my
so
buddy.
Like he's your dude. I like it. I think it's cool. It's not. I don't think it's my thing. I definitely watched Evangelion in high school. I loved Dragon Ball Z. I've never seen like the original Dragon Ball Z, only the edited shit that we got in America.
Yes.
And Dragon Ball, I loved that. And, you know, like Sailor Moon and stuff like that we would get that was accessible on Cartoon Network.
Yep. Yep.
That's the stuff that I really saw.
Whatever it was.
Yeah.
Little space dude.
Yes.
Remember that guy? Oh,
yes.
Loved it.
That stuff was accessible to me, so I saw it and I thought it was really cool. But I mean, I don't know. Like,
what's your go-to genre?
Me?
Like, yeah, when you watch like television
terrible, horrible, shitty horror films.
Yes!
Yeah.
Yes! That's my favorite. Like Cabin Fever. And like,
Okay, I have one. I watched this past, when did I watch it? Friday night. Have you seen The Boy?
No, but I want to.
Oh my god! You want to
like
watch a shitty movie. I won't ruin anything for you.
Okay.
At all. But I was laughing.
Yes.
For
I love that.
3/4 of the movie, I was laughing. Yeah. And then until I wasn't. And then I was like, oh, fuck this movie. I will just tell you, without telling you anything, it's a movie about
a boy.
Men being toxic.
Oh,
like most horror films.
Actually. No,
yeah, there's a lot of
like
interesting intersectionality with like gender studies and
but
like.
Is that like a stupid? Because when you say like a stupid, I think like cheesy lines, like really over the top, like
when I'm talking. Yeah, that can be part of it. It's
like
just
Evil
that,
Dead,
so
you know
the movie. Oh, but Evil Dead is good.
Evil Dead. It's one of my favorites.
It's good.
The old one and the new one.
You know what? You know what I really love? Any John Carpenter film. Because
names. I'm so sorry.
Okay, John Carpenter did Halloween.
Okay.
He did The Thing.
See,
Have you seen The Thing?
No, I've never watched. Like, I actually just recently, like within the past like 5 years, have started watching horror movies because I was so scared of everything as a kid. So I've just recently started
immersive therapy. So you're just
I went to a sleepover and they played it, and I was like, never fucking doing a sleepover, never watching a scary movie again.
No.
I couldn't go into the shower by myself for a long time.
Here's my thing.
I would do a watch party with you guys, but I would not do that by myself.
The old one?
Any of that.
Any horror film.
I don't do horror unless it's like I can do gore. Like I love zombie movies, but that to me doesn't like feel like horror. I don't even. What is that?
Like like a pop up, like a jump scare. Yes,
jump scares.
They're
not the favorite.
Yeah,
they're not.
I don't blame you. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I don't get scared easily with most horror films, especially if they're involving like monsters or just generally things that I don't believe in, like ghosts, monsters. Like I could be totally wrong. I will always say this about like religion or like myths or fables or anything, you know, like I'm totally willing to be proven wrong, but I don't really believe in anything. So like things like monsters and cryptids and stuff like that don't generally get me. Like if anything, I'm gonna laugh at this film because it's ridiculous to me. However, movies and like podcasts and things about like serial killers and stuff like that, again, I will listen to and watch with rapt attention because it's so fascinating to me, like the human psyche behind a person who is so socially and mentally detached, emotionally detached from other people that they choose to like murder, and not even usually just murder, like murder in really horrific ways. Like that stuff I find I'm trying to be more conscious about like what I consume, because there is I did recently, I follow a lot of like death workers on Instagram, and one of them recently
death worker?
Yeah, like people who work like in morgues and with families.
I like those accounts. I find them so I don't mind that gore stuff either.
They
so
like
seeing
they
real
do
spines.
a lot of the sociological and psychological and therapeutic work to work with people through death and dying, because it's not even just like you are dying, it is like your family is grieving and like all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And Cole and Perry recently started talking about like, well, should we really be consuming like these kinds of podcasts and stuff, like the My Favorite Murder and like stuff like that.
That's all I listen to.
Well, I mean, so take what I say with a grain of salt. I'm not like judging
I know what
you,
you're saying. No, I know.
but there's a family behind those stories, and they're not always asked or like even thought about when they're talking about their loved one being brutally, oftentimes brutally and weirdly murdered. And like it's
and
a lot
they
of
give
details.
A lot of notoriety to the killer rather than the victim. A lot of the podcasts, I actually don't listen to that one that you just mentioned, but the other podcasts that I do listen to, they try to focus more on like the life of the victims and stuff like that. But I still understand what you mean. Like it's not. Like, if it was my family member, I would not want that out there.
Right.
The way that they're putting it out there.
That's what
it's
Cole
like a weird
asking.
fetishizing and like celebratory.
It's
not celebratory.
Yeah, it's entertainment.
We all have like a morbid curiosity, so I know why it's so popular. But again, like
I feel like there's probably a healthy balance.
Yeah,
because it's like it is helpful to know that people out there exist, and like and like stories. I watch Making a Murderer, and I listened to the NPR podcast that they did.
Serial.
So good. But they also, I feel like they were aware of the power that of their microphone.
Yes.
And the reach of that. And it wasn't just to get like a bunch of hits and a bunch of likes.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I tend to go more towards fantasy, because it's like you're not actually screwing with anybody's life. Like I went through a season where I listened to a ton of like scary podcasts that was like scary stories, and it was freaky, but I would rather it like not be real.
A podcast that I used to listen to, and I don't even know if it even exists anymore. I had to stop listening to it because it was actually mentally affecting me. Was Sword and Scale.
Yes, I listened to them. Yep. There was one episode where I actually, I am very.
I cannot listen to the stuff about kids.
Yes,
and they would do a lot of them.
I don't know if we're thinking about the same episode, because it was like they were doing voiceovers of some like chat room.
Yes. Oh my God. And they.
Yep.
We should not talk about what it's about, because it's so disturbing, and I don't want to force that kind of
knowing that that's in our world.
I listened to that one and stopped listening to it because
that's the only podcast I've ever had to stop because it made me literally sick to my stomach. That's never happened to me before. I could not sleep
after I listened to that.
No, and
it was
also,
horrible.
The guy who does Sword and Scale
is a horrible person. Is a horrible person.
Yes, he's a super douche.
So.
Mike Blah or
whatever. We do not recommend Sword and Scale.
No,
I don't know if that's the thing you guys do on here.
His Patreon, but you know,
there's the only one I'm down to anymore is called Sinisterhood, and it's these two comedian friends who are from Texas, and they do a lot. I actually still occasionally listen to Crime Junkie.
Yeah, I like Crime Junkie.
But Crime Junkie is doing a lot of work behind the scenes as well. They work with Crime Stoppers.
Yep,
they regularly talk to you as a person, and specifically a woman, about like what to look out for, how to protect yourself. They say stay weird, stay rude, stay alive.
What's so funny? Our last episode that just went live today, I said to Emily last time, because she said somebody stopped her on the street about a black dress, and she said, "I'm not a rude person," and I said, "Sometimes you gotta be a rude bitch."
Be rude.
You never know. And that's a crime junkie rule. You gotta be rude.
If you, a lot of that like sort of behavior will stop someone from abducting you. Like
Yes.
that's what they talk about, and I think that that's good and important. And I think they do typically try to reach out to families, and like ask them like, is this stuff okay? And they work with other people who are trying to get justice for their their victims and their family members. Sinisterhood does a lot of cryptid stuff, which is funny, like, but they also do a lot of true crime stuff and typically try to do something that is like well reported on, so that it's like, okay, the family has already been involved and stuff like that. And genuinely, like those two gals like have like a really good like just vibe about them. I don't feel like shit after listening to their podcast.
Yeah, that's how I feel about Morbid. That's my main go-to. That's a pretty new.
With Elena and Ash.
Do you not like them?
I stopped listening to them.
I went to see them live a few times. I'm really.
Did you?
I'm big.
They're from they're from the Boston area. Yeah. I listened to them. I actually have 2 Morbid t-shirts. I thought they were so cool, but I will say I had real issues with like how they attack
the killers.
Like I'm not supporting killers, but there's also like a lot of societal issues that and that sort of create these monsters, and like I don't know if that's really addressed in their podcast very much. It's more like, fuck that guy, he's the worst. They also on several occasions, not just one time and then said sorry about it, like several times they have had to apologize for dead naming people, and like
that's not great.
It's shitty, and it's just they put a bad taste in my mouth after a while.
For how like aware they are of it, you'd think that they would be able to catch it more in advance than posting it and having to apologize after.
But also them like Ash specifically, like on one occasion, like refused to use the right pronouns for a person because they were a killer, and it was like, okay, so let's not prop up the fact that they are a killer, but also can we, like, the trans people who are listening to your podcast are also like, this kind of behavior affects me as well. Like, you can't, you're just making it worse.
It's dehumanizing.
It's dehumanizing. And like, they would probably be less killers if we were more, apt to help someone who is in like this kind of situation. I don't know. So
I do feel like they make that point a lot, where like if somebody had stepped in at the moment of like when it was really just like mental illness and not murder, like before it escalated. But I agree with you, because they have done that a few times that I can recall.
It, like when they did it the first time, I was like, ooh, but then they apologized and I was like, okay, but then they did it a couple more times and I was like, you can't just say you're sorry. You know,
if you're not going to change.
I'm a firm believer in that saying sorry doesn't mean jack shit. Like, show me you're sorry. Like, don't do it again. If you were really sorry, you wouldn't do it again. So there's some kind of weird, like, misogynistic, homophobic, even though Ash is gay and has a trans partner. I don't know. It's very strange. Like, there's some kind of weird.
Honestly, I think she's just kind of like, and I'm speaking for myself because I say dumb things sometimes because I'm like not the brightest person. But like, I think sometimes she's just flaky. Emily, don't lie. But
you're not a dumb person.
I'm a little flaky. Ditzy is the better word. But like,
well, but it comes from somewhere, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
but if you have this platform to speak on, you need to be more aware, and like
you also have the ability to edit it out.
Exactly.
Like, they could have edited it out. Yeah. Oh, that's such a hard word to say. Edited it. Me and my Midwestern accent, where like everything is like glottal stops. What?
Let's say all the words. Trash can. Soda.
Trash can. Soda.
Wait, no, what's your words? Garbage pail. Pop.
Bagel.
What? Bagel. Boggle.
I say bagel. I say pop. I say pop.
Do you say
water?
There has to be something. Garbage pail. basement.
What do you call
What is a
sneakers?
garbage pail? You mean a trash can?
Yeah,
like
people
we say
call it
trash can.
but other people call it a garbage pail, or some people call it the cellar. Some people call it a basement.
It's basement.
It's a basement.
What about dinner or supper?
That's interchangeable for me. My dad's from Oklahoma,
Same.
so like
Supper's
we'll
with
say
my mom,
supper.
dinner's at home.
Yeah.
My dad was a military brat, so we
I
have
think
like
that's
a
more of an
really
age
weird
thing.
combination of things.
Yeah.
It's like an age thing, like jeans and dungarees.
Isn't there like a whole list of like these words that we can say? We'll see if like
who
regionalisms.
says it different?
We different. Let me
Like an
Google
envelope or a
on your
letter holder.
podcast.
I definitely got
Different.
ostracized for stuff when I lived in Indiana because I came from like the heathen East Coast.
Oh my god.
Heathen.
Okay, well they're backwards as fuck. So like whatever. Different. I lived in Indiana for 2 years. I'm allowed to
Lived
say
and
that.
learned.
I lived
Yes,
in
you're
Illinois for 2 years. I grew up in Ohio. I am from that place, and
You
they
are
are backwards
around.
as fuck.
An evangelical Christian. That was the word, right? I'm sorry. I'm not a religion person. My family
Yeah.
is Wiccan and do whatever you want type of people.
That is
That's
the
kinda
opposite
cool.
of.
Yeah,
let's see,
my mom
different-
was also addicted to video games. We'll talk about my childhood another day.
That's fine.
Okay.
Key chats turning into weekly therapy sessions.
Yeah.
Emily and Caitlin.
Is that not what this? I mean, that's what I've been using.
Yeah, it's totally what this is.
I'm
wanna
excited for this
see-
list right now.
I'm
there's a
trying
lot
to
of
find
other
like
things.
examples of
Like
regionalisms.
we call it an apartment in like London, they call it a flat. or
Flat.
something, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
List of American regionalisms.
It's fun to see the maps of like based on like what people refer to different things as and how they pronounce things.
Oh, okay. So what do you call, this is a fun game. What do you call like a long sandwich? Do you know what I mean?
A
Like a
sub.
long, you call it a sub? You call it a hoagie?
You call it a
I-
hoagie,
yeah.
really? Wait,
Yeah,
I would call
I'm
it a
from
sub.
Philly.
interesting.
I would call it a sub. There's all the
There's
other
also
options.
hero.
Yeah, hero or a grinder.
Yeah, grinders.
What do you call your like workout shoes?
My sneakers. Yeah.
Sneakers? We call them tennis shoes.
What?
Tennis shoes
Just-
are for tennis.
Yeah,
I
no,
play
but
tennis.
it does like
Because
where
I
I
play
came
tennis,
from.
and we specifically
Yeah.
have
Everything
for
is tennis shoes.
Yeah, everything is tennis shoes. Like where my dad is from, not exactly. They call every pop, and I know I say pop, and like Kyle gives me shit for that.
Oh,
'cause
they
he's-
call it Coke? Is
They
everything
call it Coke. Everything is Coke.
Everything, even Sprite.
Everything is a Coke. And if you go to
Even
a
Pepsi.
restaurant and like ask for what drinks, they'll say like the kind of Cokes they have. They'll like tell you all the Cokes they have, and it's
What
like
if it's Pepsi?
insane. Okay, so what do you call the like outside where you have like, oh, I'm gonna say the word, like where water comes out, like
The hose.
where
Yeah.
you open it? No, not the hose.
The
No, it is a
faucet.
hose.
Water
Okay,
fountain.
Oh, a faucet. Yeah.
You call it a faucet. It can also be a spigot if you're from the South. A spigot.
Spigot's not even a word. That's
I
fake.
call it a faucet.
It's a fake
All right,
word.
and
Spigot. That's
like
like 1840s talk.
the cooking instrument that you make eggs in.
My pan. Frying pan.
Okay, a frying pan. You call it a frying
Or
pan
a skillet.
or a skillet.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, no. Frying pan only.
We call it a skillet. Or
Ew.
yeah.
A skillet is like the thing I plug in that heats up on its own. That you cook.
Oh,
bacon on.
really?
Yeah.
No, I thought that was like a hot. Oh, like
Isn't that like a George Foreman.
No, it's like
No,
the long
like a-
tray that heats up. I'm not describing it well.
I know what you're talking
Oh,
about.
Skillet.
like at a church
make
function,
pancakes
like at
on
a
it.
potluck.
Emily, I never went to a church function.
What do you call what's inside of a peach?
A pit. Peach pit. The fuck
Okay,
do
other
other
places
people
might
call
call it a seed, but yeah, it's a pit. What do you
Oh.
call the children's outdoor plaything that goes like
playground?
this?
The monk.
Oh, a seesaw.
You call it a seesaw? We called it a teeter-totter.
Oh, I've heard that. I've heard it. I thought that was like the actual.
In
name.
Rhode Island, they call it a dandle.
That's sounds wrong.
Okay, well that's Rhode Island. So
You kids go
that's like a
dandle
whole
over
other
there.
conversation.
I'll do one last one.
I would do 50.
And this is interesting because I actually use one of these terms, but I'm not from an area where you would do that. I just have agreed with friends over the years that it is a useful term. So like the term for a group of people and you want to address them.
I that's one thing I picked up in Indiana.
What do you say? Yeah. What do you do?
I
do you
did
say
not
it?
do that
I
prior
would
to
say,
living
hey,
in Indiana.
you guys. Like,
You
hey,
guys.
guys. Yeah.
There's also Ewans. There's
I'm
Yins.
doing that. I'm doing
Yins if you're from Western Pennsylvania. Use. And then
Use guys.
I don't know.
Guys.
Yeah, I don't know what the difference between use with no e and use with an e on the end is, but it's
Use guys.
Use.
Yeah, no, I think so. Y'all is an incredibly it picks up a word space that lacks in our language, whereas like other languages have a term for that where you address a group of people. Like in Russian, they say "вы" instead of "ты," and so that means like "ты" is like singular, like you.
The singular you
like
versus
I am
the plural
talking to you. You are also very familiar to me, so "ты." And then if I am not familiar with you, or there is a group of people, or you have some sort of status above me, you say "вы." And like that is a space that is lacking in the English language. Like we replace it with things like, hey, all you guys over there, like instead of like having one word for it.
Yeah.
Which like Southern America and Midland America like has done. They say y'all, but like people shit on it because it sounds uneducated or whether. Fuck it. I use it. I
like saying it. I have been criticized for saying it like you're not from down south. Like, y'all shut up.
Yeah, it's like you don't have to be from somewhere. It fills a niche need in our language, and it's
that's
useful.
all like linguistic things. Is like language is always evolving. Like the conversations around grammar with people are such sticklers about it. Like I had conversations with professors in college where I was like, no, like you say that this is wrong, but it's not wrong because like the language has evolved to meet like you said, that kind of fill that void or that need.
Right.
And words change over time.
The whole point of language is to get your idea across, and if you have succeeded at that, then I think you are succeeding at language. I think I also, because I was like a try hard and wanted to be smart and shit, like when I was younger, I was pretty ridiculous about like grammar when people would speak, and I would correct people. But like now that I'm an adult, I'm like, fuck that shit. All that does is make that person not want to talk to you.
Yeah, that's
and
why
then you have
typos.
No, exactly. I stopped correcting my typos as well because I was like, whatever, do you understand what I said?
Yeah.
Okay,
awesome.
Good. If you didn't understand what I said, then okay, like when I will try to fix this and explain it. But
well, and that's also on the other person to be like, what?
Yeah.
Like
what?
It's not on you to constantly be like managing the other people's reactions and assuming that you know or don't know how that person is like responding. Like we have agency and a responsibility. Like if you don't understand something either in actual language or word or emotion, whatever, like that's on you to also ask for clarification.
Right.
More or less agency.
Yeah. And kindness. And just kindness.
Yeah.
Like
be nice.
Yeah, be nice.
To your badly grammared people.
It's not even just that. It's like, people who speak English as a second language in this country, it shit on so fucking hard. It's like, do you not realize how smart that person is to even be speaking to you in a semi-intelligible way in their second language? Like, don't shit on your waiter who speaks Spanish as like a first language and is communicating to you perfectly fine in English. They are trying to hold their shit together and communicate to you in not their first language and doing a good job at it. Like, don't correct them.
Yep.
Like, they're doing fantastic and they have a way harder time in life than you. So they don't need you shitting on them for like not
fast language. I can't pick it up. I took like 5 years of Spanish, and I can only ask where the bathroom is. That's about it.
I know basic social security terms in Spanish.
That's
Good.
good.
That's good.
very
Random.
useful.
That is
Holy
the
shit.
agenda. That's
That's
it.
super useful though.
Could be
I
one
mean,
day.
I only know enough to know when our interpreters and translators are not doing their jobs properly.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, like, it's not. Can you actually interpret what I said? Thank you. Because I had a better one an hour ago who did interpret this properly. But I'm also not going to correct them because I clearly need an interpreter because I don't speak Spanish.
Right.
It's the one language. I have this snack that's been staring at me.
Ooh, what
I've
big
got-
roll?
Big roll.
It's like fried seaweed.
That's
Ooh,
interesting.
Spicy squid flavor.
that sounds good.
Oh,
It's very good. Have you ever had
Where do
dried
you-
squid shreds?
No.
No,
I have
Well,
not.
that's what it tastes like.
Where do you buy something like this?
I bought a couple boxes of different flavors. I have this flavor, kimchi flavor, and tom yum flavor, I think. I just went to the Asian
Order
store.
them online? Oh,
No.
which Asian store?
There's an Asian store like down the street from me that's like 5 minutes away. I usually like when I plan my grocery trips, it's half American store and half Asian store.
That's cool.
Yeah, I need like most of my cooking. I told you last time was like it's all Asian cooking, so I need like Asian ingredients, and you can get them at the
Hell yeah.
international aisle, but it's like weird Stop and Shop brands.
You can't get quite enough though. Like we
No.
also go down to there's an Asian supermarket like
Yes, that's
behind
where it
our
is. Yep.
house, and we go back there and like they have like we buy rice cakes and
Yep.
like
Mm.
not these things like
Yeah.
the
No.
dumpling things
Yes.
and like all the kinds of noodles they have and like sauces
Mhm.
that you can't get
Yeah.
anywhere and
I
like,
love H Mart whenever I randomly go to
love
H.
H Mart, the one in Burlington.
I have
That's
never
the one.
been to an H Mart and it sounds like a party.
It's just like a big Asian superstore. It's
Next
awesome.
time
And
you
then
come
they
to
have Hawaii section.
Massachusetts,
Yes,
we're gonna do
go.
karaoke.
Mhm.
We'll go to H Mart. We'll go to the beach near me.
We're gonna go to
Hell
beach.
yeah.
All right, let's go.
That sounds fun.
I think you're all surrounded by beaches, right, Emily? Like you're in Gloucester.
I'm on an island. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It's great. I love it. Yay.
Well, y'all should come to DC sometime and I'll drag you
I need
around.
to.
Yeah, I will, and I'll see.
There's tons of free shit to do here. That's really cool.
Hey, if it's free,
I haven't
it's for
been
me.
since like 8th grade when we did our DC
I've never
trip.
been. They did a DC trip, and I was jealous because everyone went.
I did not
We
get
should
to go.
to DC.
I did not get to go on a DC trip when I was a kid. Ours was supposed to be in 5th grade, and that is when 9/11 happened.
Oh, yeah, damn.
So we did not do
We were
that.
supposed to go to Crystal Caves that year. We never got to go to Crystal Caves. That was sad. Anyway, Pennsylvania.
We can go
It's
now.
fine. So, Kaylee, we're going to go to DC sometime.
Yes.
Yes.
Actually, no, the last time I went to DC, I was in 9th grade. No, in 9th grade, I went to a climate change rally. And then in
Hell
10th
yeah.
or 11th grade, I went to the Jon Stewart, Stephen Colbert rally.
Oh,
The
hell
rally to
yeah.
restore sanity and the march to keep fear
That's
alive.
amazing.
So,
That is
so
amazing.
that was, I think that was the last time I went to DC.
I saw
was
Jon
that.
Stewart the other day. I saw Jon Stewart. He was here. I was on my. You see so many people. I saw Marco Rubio one time and yelled at him.
Oh.
I also saw some Texas senator, the one that has the. He's not a senator. He's a House representative. The one that has the eye patch. I called him a pirate.
Oh yeah.
To his face, and I don't fucking care. But I saw Jon Stewart. He was here. I was on my lunch walk, and I was over by the VA building, and he was out there doing some kind of like work for. He works with
He does
veterans
a lot of
who've-
VA.
yeah. veterans who've been
He's
like
awesome.
medically injured and like aren't receiving what they need from the government. He
Mhm.
was there doing like a press thing outside the front. I was like, oh, it's Jon Stewart. That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Casual.
He's awesome.
I haven't run
Love
into
him.
AOC yet though, so
There's time.
or Bernie. We thought we saw Bernie one time, but we weren't sure. And I didn't want to be that person who like ran up to him and was like, I am asking you again to donate $27. Like I wasn't gonna be an idiot. Because that's the thing. I'll be an idiot, so it's better I just like stay away. Just like from afar, be like, oh, that's my guy.
Like, I really like you.
That person was probably used to it.
He probably. Oh my god, especially Bernie. Like some of the people who love him are insane. So
yeah, Bernie Bros. Thanks for coming on today, Bethany.
Thanks for inviting me. I love you guys.
I love you. So
oh, friends.
Friendship.
Woo!
Been so fun. We'll do this again.
Yeah, I mean, like if you guys
Yes,
this doesn't have to be in the podcast or anything, but like if you
No,
just want to do like
we can
video
also just
calls
hang out.
sometimes.
Oh,
you can like hang out. We can watch a movie. We can watch a movie together.
Yes.
Like scary movies together.
Emily's like, no.
I haven't seen The Boy 2.
I haven't
The Boy 2.
Oh,
It's about a doll. Okay, here is the synopsis.
Fuck that, no.
Here is
I don't
the synopsis.
do dolls.
Here is the synopsis of The Boy in
Oh,
a way
God.
that doesn't give anything away.
Okay.
A woman who is a young American woman is trying to like get away from some bad stuff that happened in her life. So she goes across the pond and this elderly English couple ask her to watch their son while they go away for whatever reason. Rich people need to go away, rich white English people who live in this like castle mansion out in the English countryside. She gets there.
That's always the way.
And the son in question, named Brahms, is a fucking doll.
Yes.
And they have
I saw an ad for this.
Yeah, and they have a list of requirements that must be met like every single day. And they leave and they're like, we're so sorry. And then they leave. And then
they just say sorry? Like, no.
Yeah.
And like,
bye.
And then
she left to not come back.
Yeah, and then you have to watch the movie to see like the series of events that happens.
See, I could do like a British scary story because that's not gonna remotely happen to me because I don't live there.
It's
like
not,
it needs to be removed enough away from my reality.
Leave some
like when I watched The Village, like that felt like it could happen because we would walk through the woods in Valley Forge and you could come across some scary shit. And when you grow up in evangelicalism, you basically live in a cult. Yeah. And that is The Village. I can tell you that, yeah. So that was like a little real for me.
You didn't like The Witch either? The Witch.
It's been so long since I watched.
That's like Puritanism though. I mean, those are like, yeah. I love that movie. That's such a good movie.
We had to, I was also forced to watch The Village at a youth group retreat. And I was in like 6th grade and I was too young for that. And I was a very sensitive soul.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck?
Why would they make
Seriously,
you watch that?
They made you watch that? Like on a church thing?
Yeah, because it was like a sermon illustration.
There is so much fucked up shit in evangelicalism. Wow, that's not even a word. Evangelicism?
Evangelicalism.
Whatever. Yeah, evangelicalism. I think I still said it wrong. Whatever. Like the shit that they do with like they used to do anyway. What I remember, like those hell houses where they have like teenagers pretend to be demons and devils and like
what?
Like basically there's like a girl who is like trying to have like because she tried to have like sex with her boyfriend or something like that. She must be possessed by like the demon of Jezebel. Oh my god, we could talk so much about this shit. I think Emily and I may have similar trauma.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't experience that.
But I was gonna say about video chatting. I have Jackbox games, so we can also do those sometimes.
We do too. We could play games. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
No.
Or we could talk about that whole
drama. Oh, Kaylee.
I didn't have that.
This is
like good. I'm glad you didn't. I'm glad
it's not
you
great.
didn't. I'm not like wishing that you had that. Like that's awful.
It's not something that you want to bond with someone over.
but it happens.
Because like when you meet like a fellow survivor out of these contexts, it's like, oh.
The stuff that was super pervasive in like mine and like my grandparents' household and like still is that like televangelism. Like the Graham family and like Joel Osteen.
That wasn't as big in my house. Charles Stanley was a big thing at my grandparents' house, and whenever if you were sick and couldn't go to church, you would watch Charles Stanley. But we didn't do Joel Osteen because he was a prosperity gospel, so that's not real Christianity. So, but then, I mean, like,
it's not. So at least your family got that part right. But
yeah, I mean, so we got that part right. But like the idolization of Billy Graham. So I was working at a church when he died, and you would have thought that Jesus himself died.
Yeah, they think that
it is like gross.
That's the problem.
How
is like
much idolization happens of these people.
Yeah, I don't believe in God, but like if you did believe in God, it does not make sense for you to follow these people because the way that people, at least from what I have personally observed, is like you guys don't follow Jesus or God. You follow these guys. These guys are your God.
Yeah.
Like they're a living God to you. You give them money. You give them head space and heart space and time. You let their hatred seep inside you. Like I don't and call it love.
The amount of like people that I've seen that have stayed in abusive marriages because of quote unquote pastoral counseling. And it's like, that's not counseling. That's just like a dude who read a book who is telling you
you have to stay in your marriage because it's a sin. Like to Yeah. My parents are a perfect example of people who should never, honestly, probably should never have been married. And but because they were married, and believed in all of this garbage, like stayed married for way too long. Way too long.
Yeah.
That's a chat for another time.
Anyway,
this was so fun. Next time. Let's all go pee now.
Bye.